Shabbat Shalom Mishpacha. This is Rabbi Simon Altaf HaKohen. Now today we speak from the United States of America, from the state of Ohio, where I'm situated right now, very close to Thomas Edison, the man who made the light bulb, or at least the one who succeeded in making the light bulb. As you know, that many people tried, and there's claims that Italians made the light bulb first and all that, but it doesn't matter whether Italians made it first or not. They never succeeded, and the one who came on the front was, of course, Thomas Edison. Now, why do I mention Thomas Edison? The reason why I mention Thomas Edison is because Thomas Edison tried about 1,000 different ways to make the bulb work, and eventually succeeded on the 1,000th time to make it work. He tried different materials that wouldn't stay and would burn away and not keep the bulb alive, and then eventually he found the right material mix. But I want to tell you how that actually happened. I'm going to give you a summary. I'm not going to go too much into that history, but just a summary for you to know that Thomas Edison asked a question to himself, which basically means his I am. He asked a question to himself how to do this, and I think he went to bed and woke up with the answer that I'm going to try it this way, and then he was able to fix the problem. So, stopping there, today is also the Jewish Passover. So happy Pesach, happy Passover to those of you celebrating the Jewish lunar festival. And our solar Passover is yet away a few days. We're about 6 days away, because we celebrate that on April 3rd every year, and I'll stick to that for April 3rd, which means I don't have to wrestle with moon sightings, barley sightings, or half moon, or the molad, or the dark moon. None of those things really matter. They are irrelevant. Chadasha for the Adelia. They are irrelevant to our concern, because what matters to us is when is it best to celebrate the Passover according to the solar calendar, which is the calendar of Enoch, called Hanuch in the Bible. You can read about him, very short verses about him in the Torah, in the book of Genesis. Not much is said about him, other than that he followed God's laws. But we do have a book of Enoch, which you can, there's a free one available online, and it's a mishmash and there's a lot of mistakes in it. I have translated Enoch back to the actual correct formulation with footnotes, and you can look up that one on Amazon, and you'll be able to read about Enoch in pretty in-depth book that Enoch wrote. And there he talks about different things, about different scenarios. Then of course there's also the book of Jasher or Yashar, and Jasher is one of those books where you will read about what happened in Joshua ben Nun's life predominantly, and also in the 10 sons of Jacob's life. You read up in most of that information will come from the book of Jasher. Again, the book of Jasher is available free online, but it's full of, let me put it this way politely, full of crap, because it's got all sorts of mistakes in there. But when you pick up the one that I translated back from the actual sources of Hebrew, there you will find a lots more useful information which fills in the blanks in the Torah. There are many informations in the Torah, in the book of Genesis, and there's a lot of blanks as to why this happened and why wasn't this explained, and why a certain thing was left out. And so the book of Jasher is one of those manuals for students of history and students of scripture, students of Torah, that must have that as a resource for themselves, because they can at least read up on history, on what their forefathers were doing and why certain things happen. Shabbat Shalom to you, James, Yaakov. So now coming back to COVID-19. I've got to go through a lot of little stuff on the way back in. Now, Baruch Hashem, that I came back, all was well, let's put it this way, all went great. But I got to Chicago, and of course, the agents didn't inform me, but my flight ahead had been cancelled. 9:30 flight had been cancelled, so I went to the lady, and she told me that you may have to book another flight, and the flights have been reduced due to COVID-19, and it's not tonight, it's tomorrow, and you may have to find your own hotel as well. So I went away, and I just said to myself that all is going to work out great. It's wonderful, it's definitely true. Now, if you don't know anything, and if you just said it's wonderful, it's definitely true, you're going to find miracles are going to start to happen in your life. I guarantee you that. So I was there. It's wonderful, it's definitely true. I'm going to get a king's passage. I said that to myself. I'm going to get a king's passage. And what happened, I went back to the next lady after speaking to the first one, who said to me, you have to get another flight and find your own hotel and do everything. So back and forth went to the second lady, and she said to me, sir, yes, the flight got cancelled. I'm going to find you a new flight tomorrow morning, completely paid for. I'm going to find you a hotel on the house, completely paid, and I'm going to give you a free meal voucher as well on top. And so, exactly as I told you, the miracle happened right there in Chicago, right within 5 minutes time. All it took is 5 minutes. And when I said it's wonderful, it's definitely true, I'm going to get a king's passage, and boom, everything clicked together. And I got my flight booked for the next day. I then called the hotel, beautiful room in I think it was called it was near the Hilton Hotel, and is a hotel, beautiful hotel, beautiful room. I called the shuttle service, went to the hotel. I didn't order the meal because I didn't want it to eat. I was like 10 o'clock by the time, 10:30 by the time I got there. I was like, you know what, I don't feel like eating anything. I'm not going to bother, because I tried calling the pizza company once, and they wouldn't pick up, so forget about it. Don't need it. I'm just going to take a shower and hit the bed, and wake up in the morning to catch my flight into Ohio. And that's what I did, and everything worked out wonderfully. So that was my experience of it's wonderful, it's definitely true. Now I'm going to add on to that, but I'll come back to the add-on. Today is a day of Passover for many people. Today we're going to invoke an angel, which I have never done. Well, actually I've done it one time in the East when I invoked the angel Raphael. Today I will invoke the angel Michael, the angel of Israel, the angel who protects our people, who is assigned to our people. So today I'm going to wait a little bit, let other people turn up, and because we're still early, and I will invoke the angel for a 10x blessing, 10x your income, for healing, for prosperity, for protection, because Passover means protection, Passover means redemption, Passover means safe passage. For me, coming in from Chicago to Ohio was Passover, safe passage. I crossed over from Chicago into Ohio, had to pass over safely, safe passage. So Passover doesn't necessarily have to be connected only with Egypt. Passover could be any journey that you're about to make and take, and you got perils in the way, and you got obstacles, and you're having a hard time. You got to have COVID test, you got to have a vaccine, you got to do this, you got to do that. All of those things can occur to you. Therefore, that is a Passover, and I hit a Passover every time I travel, because I have to pass over 7 seas. I have to pass over the Atlantic sometimes to UK, United Kingdom, and sometimes I have to pass over to the other side to Pakistan, and I have to cross I have to cross the Persian Gulf. I have to cross many other oceans to get there. So for me, that's a Passover as well. So I've done a few of those Passovers so far. So my point is that even when you're traveling in the US, and you may travel in the US now as the flights are opening up, you will be doing a Passover. So Passover to you is not only for today or April 3rd. Passover is relevant to you every time you travel. Every time you travel, you're going to do the Passover. So beware of that. And I'm going to teach you today, and what I'm going to give you today, you're going to take it with you for life. And you're going to teach it to your children, and your children are going to teach it to their children and children's children. And so Baruch Hashem Yahweh, that when I'm about to mention to you the miracles that have taken place in our lives, and they multiply, and everybody doesn't report. Look, everybody doesn't report to me their miracles. Only some people do. Because people feel shy, and people feel that other people might get jealous. And it happens. I can tell you that people do get jealous. If you tell people that, hey, I got a batch of money, and your family finds out, they'll get jealous. Natural human, things happen. And people say, hey, why did he get it? Why did my cousin get that money? Why didn't I get it? And then next thing you know, they're bickering, and they're backstabbing each other, and he'll go to his cousins and tell them, oh, such and such, got money and didn't I didn't get it, and so on and so forth. Now, I have, so I'm going to give you briefs. Welcome to the room. And the brief story, I am the Kohen in the gate. And I have wonderful, wonderful miracles to report. And I'm only going to report some of them, because if I started to report miracles, I'll probably be here for the next 3 hours explaining to you the miracles. So know this that you're in the right place. If you are here, God has brought you over here. You're not here by some happenstance. You came here because the infinite intelligence, who we call God, and we call him by the name of Yud-He-Wah-He, Yahweh, and we call him Hashem, we call him Adonai, and we call him by many different names, or you could say titles. Elohim, El, these are all titles. You technically say the names as well, but they're titles. Because look, God doesn't have a name like you and me. It's not like his name is Simon, and he's God. Last time I checked, I'm not God. Last time I checked, I was eating food. And so God doesn't eat food. So God doesn't need food, and God doesn't need air like I need air. So be very careful of what you claim, because you are not the divinity, but you have the ability to connect to that divinity and be blessed by that divinity. You can call that divinity I am, which is a name that Moses was given. In the actual Hebrew tongue, he was called Ahiye, Asher Ahiye, or Ahaya, Asher Ahaya. So some people prefer to call him Ahaya in America. Some people prefer to call him Jehovah. Some people prefer to call him God. And there are others who don't believe in the Bible, and they will say, well, we'll call him universe, we'll just call him benevolent power up there, or they come up with different names. Now, myself and Rabbi Kefa I can talk about, but I can't talk about everybody else. But I believe firmly in the Torah, the prophets, that they were true, and they are verifiable. And historically, although I must warn you that the Bible is not a book of history or science, but a lot of people have misused the Bible as history and science, and of course as prophecy. Bible is not a book for prophecy either, but people use it as such. But they talk about what happened 4,000 years ago, and they try to connect forward to 4,000 years ahead or 6,000 years ahead. Bible never claims to be a book of prophecy, but it does tell you things that are going to occur, so you could call it prophecy. So again, I would be careful that we interpret prophecy loosely, not strictly, because there are no dates given in the Bible. The Bible doesn't say in 2021 or in 2020 in February, America's going to shut down, and you're going to have coronavirus, and you're going to have a plague. So the Bible has to be interpreted very loosely. And I noticed that there are people out there interpreting the Bible. They think that they know the interpretation, and they interpret the Bible strictly, not loosely. And then they come up with all sorts of doom and gloom theories. None of those theories, by the way, are true. Because I should know, because I've written on prophecy many times. Absolutely. This red moon theory, I spoke about that years ago when Rabbi Kefa's neck of the woods, San Antonio, that great San Antonio, the city, where I've been a number of times, there was Rabbi Kefa's ex-pastor, and he can tell you about that one, what happened there. So he was the one who was writing books about red moons and Passover moon and this moon and that moon, and I had my students coming to me left, right, center asking me, Rabbi, what about the moon? What about the red moon? Are we going to have problems? Are we going to have disasters? Are we going to have, is Jesus coming back? And things like that. And I told them exactly what I'm telling you today. None of that is true. Nothing's going to change. We're going to continue with the world. Our world's going to stand where it is. And don't waste your time with all these theories. I haven't forgot his name, Rabbi Kefa, your ex-pastor, who's got a big old church over there in San Antonio. He does it. John Hagee. John Hagee does his TV program. I remember when I was in the UK, and if you switched over to the Christian channel, you'll see John Hagee, 12 o'clock UK time. He'll be broadcasting his 1 hour show, and it'll be all gung-ho about Israel and this and that and the third. And and he's prophesying like crazy. He's prophesying like crazy. He's dancing, he's running around on the stage. And I've seen pastors like T.D. Jake, jumping up and down and wearing these $500 suits. And, very loud mouth. Very loud mouth. Why? Because they use their oratory skills to convince people. But they were all wrong. They're all wrong. Okay? And so Rabbi Kefa has been with me for, my goodness, quite a number of years. And Rabbi Zachariah is not in the room right now. He's been with me probably the longest. And there are probably other people here that have known me for many, many years. I've been in ministry. And I have stood the test of time. And you will find that everything I told you came to pass. Everything. Not one iota was missed. I told you that none of those things that they were prophesying was true. I told you there was no tribulation. I told you there was nothing's going to happen. And I even told you don't go to Israel to live there. Which is many people in America, many people got cheated, and I'll use the word politely, cheated, of their inheritance, because they were told to sell their homes and go to Israel and live there. And those poor guys, they did that. They went to Israel to live there. They sold their houses. They gave up their jobs. And some of them gave up their nationalities. They were told, give up your nationality. You're not American any longer. You're an Israelite. And blah, blah, blah. And those people did that. And you know what happened to them? I saw their suffering, and Rabbi Kefa saw their suffering firsthand. In 2014, 6 years ago, we went to Israel to do a special prayer at the actual temple site. Not the Roman fort. So when we did that, we saw their suffering firsthand. We met their families. We met the women there and their children, and they were suffering. They were claiming income support from Israeli government, and Israeli government didn't want them there. They were treated like fourth-class citizens. So please beware of who you listen to. And this is something that we say. Shabbat Shalom, Rabbi Zachariah. This is something that I say, be very careful of who you listen to. Because your life, the decisions that you make today, they're going to affect your children, yourself, your children, and your children's children. Because you don't want to stick over here for 20 years and find out that the person you're listening to, it doesn't take 20 years, of course. It might be in 5 years, or maybe in 2, or maybe in 1. And you find out that the person you listened to lied to you. He was just a charlatan, and everything he said was not true. And now you lost your 5 years. You can never get it back. Okay, that time is gone. Now you're looking for another church. And then after that church, you're looking for another church, then another church, and it goes on and on and on. But here, the Kohen speaks. You know, there is the Abrahamic-Faith scrolls. There is the Siddur, and it has stood the test of time. I started the Abrahamic-Faith Siddur. You know, it's called the Forever-Israel Siddur. I started that with only 100 pages. I actually had only 80 pages that were prayers, and about 20 pages of other information. Call it advertising if you like. And then it expanded. It ended up almost like 400 pages. I had to cut back. It took me about 7 years to produce that book in its present form. It took me 10 years, just 10 years, to bring the Bible to where it is today. And 20 years of research prior to that. I've spent 30 years studying prophecies, the Bible, and so on and so forth. You know, my lifetime is spent on it. Half of my life, life that you spent maybe, begetting children and in marriage and in, traveling and stuff. I spent my time sitting down and studying under the guidance of the Holy Spirit in my home in UK. I spent that time diligently. I spent many nights, many days quietly on my own, many days. And Rabbi Kefa, he was there with me as well on his own. I think Rabbi Kefa must have been by himself for at least a decade before he got his present wife from China. So he was alone for many years as well, and so was I in the UK. And we were kind of conversing together, talking about different things, prophecies, about what's current events, and everything's transpiring in front of us. So coming back to the miracles, there are things that I cannot tell you because they are highly confidential, and I can't tell you well, I can tell you little pieces of it, but I can't tell you exactly what, because when I say they're highly confidential, let me give you a little scenario. People laugh behind my back and say, oh, that Rabbi, Simon Alter, but they don't know the power that the Kohen wields. And they don't know the things that I can change in the world. They don't know that. They do not travel the seas. They do not sit in places where I sit, in high places. So they can do their ha. But I'm the one who gets the respect. I'm the one who gets the job done. There was an American hostage, and you can go and look up the names of these American hostages in Afghanistan if you feel like it. I'm not going to give you the names. And I remember the American hostage, America, whoever was the president at the time, and America's delegation, they were trying to release the hostage, this particular hostage negotiation. I think some of these negotiations started back in the 2000 something. The first they had to deal with the Iranian crisis and hostages, and 52 American hostages. Then they had to deal with other crises in the Middle East, and so eventually there was another hostage, and there are still other people, by the way. We are not finished with Afghanistan yet. So don't think that just by pulling the troops out May 1 that we are finished with Afghanistan. We are not. There are hostages in American hostages, real people, flesh and blood. Maybe they are your brother, maybe they are your father, and maybe they are your husband. I know, because I went over there to Pakistan, and I went to the border of Afghanistan. So I know what I'm talking about. And therefore I can't tell you. But I can tell you this much, that there are still hostages over there that American government's negotiating with. But they managed to negotiate a hostages release, which happened not today, not last year, it was before that, a little bit before that. They released one hostage from Afghanistan. Took them 5 years of negotiation, 5 years, and it took them $5 million to pay for that hostage, to get him back from the Taliban. Now that was just one man, one family, somebody's husband, somebody's brother, and somebody's son, and he was brought back over here, and his family was so happy to see him alive and well. Now, why am I going there? because it just so happened that somebody that I loved, somebody that I knew, got taken hostage in Afghanistan. And this happened about just, over, let's just say it happened about over 2 years ago, or just around that period. And I was laughed at. People in America that knew me laughed at me. They scorned me. They made fun. They made jokes. And they made laughter. Oh yeah, him and he this, that and the other. And when I went to Pakistan, and those people that knew I was working behind the scenes, and whatever they knew about me, and they were like joking and laughing and saying, oh, it's fraud, and same thing was happening in America. Oh, it's fraud, it's fake, those girls don't exist, it's a lie, you're wasting your time, you're wasting your money. Today I want to tell you that my sister in the UK, I want to give her thanks publicly, and my brother in UK. They are the people who funded me. They gave me loans in order to pay money to the so-called hostage takers to negotiate their release. It took me 2 years, and around, I'll give you an estimate, $20,000, not $5 million, $20,000, around $20,000 of money. And I can report to you that today those people are free. And it wasn't just one person. I went for one person, and it turns out that there were 6 other people. And it turns out there was a little kid, little baby, 3 months old, that got kidnapped somewhere from Pakistan. I don't know where. And I said, and the woman over there, the one that was taking care of the hostages, I was talking to her directly, and she became, from an enemy, she became a friend, and we befriended each other. And I said to her about this kid, what's happening to this kid? And she said that we don't know, where these guys have brought him. We've no idea. I don't know where they bring him from, but he's a little kid. He's only 3 months old. And do you want him for your son? And I said, yes, I will take that kid for my son. And I gave him a name. And I tell you, it's beautiful. And that boy, he became my son. And he's free today. And that woman contacted me, and she said to me, can you record a little clip and send it so that I can show it to this boy and tell him, this is your father. Now, of course, I made the clip about 6 months ago, and I sent another clip like just a couple of days ago. I make a clip every 3 months or something whilst he was in captivity, but now he's no longer in captivity. And I make a clip and I send it to him, and that kid, 2 days ago when I sent the clip, I reported back. They told me, they said the kid saw the clip. He's 1 year old now, by the way. He's 1 year old, and I sent him feeders. Your Tommy Tippy feeders from America. I shipped feeders from here to his home, wherever it was in Afghanistan, using the go-betweens. And I shipped those feeders to him, and this kid got used to those feeders. He wouldn't touch any of the nipple. He just wanted the Tommy Tippy nipple, and he would see my picture and he would see my video clip, and he would start shouting, Baba, 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 Baba King, Baba King, Baba King. He calls me King. And he started jumping like Jack. And the other day, the lady was telling me, she was saying to me that, I showed him your video, and this little kid was jumping up and saying, Baba, Baba, Baba King, Baba King. And he's shouting. He's only 1 year old. And only Rabbi Kefa, you can appreciate, because you have Nakshan, you can appreciate what it's like to have a son, and how that son, he hugs you, and how he goes to walks with you. And I will do that too. I will do that with that boy as well. So the next time I'm over there, he indeed will be in Pakistan at that time. So right now, he is free, and all these other people, there's at least 6 or 7 lives in total. I went for one person, I ended up freeing about 7 lives. Now you tell me, is it too much to pay for 7 lives, $20,000? And 2 years of, pursuit, diligence? Is it too much to pay? They were kidnapped because of money. People in Afghanistan get kidnapped. They take girls from Pakistan, children from Pakistan, just for the same reason that happens in America and in other countries, for money. Some of them get put into prostitution. Others take them away and they ask families to give them money, and the families don't have those big sums to pay, so they never get freed. They end up, going from one nation to the other. They cross the border in Afghanistan in containers, and they ship them to Europe, they ship them to America. You might find them on the streets of New York. So, indeed, Baruch Hashem, Yahweh, and I give thanks, always I give thanks that, I have had a lot of tremendous respect. I had tremendous respect in Pakistan with people, officials. And we did not go through the police, by the way. The police can do nothing for you. The police can't do nothing for you in the US, and the police can do nothing for you in Pakistan. When you're in Afghanistan, you're by yourself. And the same way, I can pretty much appreciate that Americans, it's not about the money either. Money can't do nothing for you either. Don't think it's just money, because Americans have been negotiating release of hostages for many, many years, and they still can't come to a conclusion because it's one thing or another. It starts with money, but then it goes to one thing or another, like maybe they want hostages, maybe they want prisoners released, maybe they want people to, be released from Guantanamo or wherever. So things never sit. So it's not so easy as money. If it was just money, America has plenty of money. America can print $1 trillion, $1.9 trillion package. If America can print $1.9 trillion package, you think they care about $5 million? $5 million to American officials is like 5 cents. That's what it's like, 5 cents. And they can just say, here you go, and release that man. But it doesn't happen. It still doesn't happen. So to me, what I did is monumental. What I achieved in Pakistan and in England and in US is monumental. It has never happened. And I did it totally by myself, with the help of God, and with the help of some other individuals that will remain nameless, because they helped me carry those feeders, goods, money for their food, and also other stuff that happened. Because you have to feed people. You have to send them things that they need to live as well. It's not all free. So a lot of those things happen. And I recall the story of Abraham in the Bible. And I was very moved by that story when Sarah was taken away from Abraham. His wife, his very love, was taken from him by the king. And Abraham could do nothing other than sit there and pray to God and say that I need my wife back. He could only look on. The Bible says you look on. And a similar thing happened with Isaac as well. So Abraham, do you know that Abraham spent 2 years, a righteous man spent 2 years praying, and then doing his meditation and trying to bring his wife back. It took him just over 2 years. And guess how long it took me? Just over 2 years. Exactly the same pattern. 100% identical. But Abraham brought his wife, and Abraham brought his next wife, which was Hagar. But I brought, one Aisha, and I brought 6 others with that, whoever they were, I freed them as well. Those, other girls, I don't even know them from Jack, and I freed them too. So I said, you know what? They were like crying. The first time I heard about them, they were crying. They were like, who's going to free us? Because our parents, they don't have the money to pay, and our parents don't, they tried with these people, they don't listen to them, and so we are stuck over here, and we can't get out. And I said, I am going to save you. I am going to redeem you. I am going to be your savior. Don't you worry about that. So I started to negotiate for their release. And so it on and on and on it went. And whilst this was going on, I was being ridiculed by people here in America who knew me. And I was being ridiculed by people in Pakistan who knew me. And when I told them these stories, they're like, no, this must be fraud. Oh, these people don't exist. Have you ever spoken to them in life? And I was like, no, but these people are real. These are real people. This is flesh and blood. And they're like, no, it must be fraud because you never spoke to them. I said, no, I have known one girl personally. She came to my house. She sat there with my father, with her family. So that one person tells me that there are other girls there. And so what she tells me is true. And so I believe her. And I will continue to work. And I would say to the people, you know, I would sometimes get annoyed with people. And I would say to them, you know what, it's not your business, so stay out of it. Just stay out of it and don't talk about it. And I would shut people up. You know, anybody who came to me and they wanted to talk about the captives in Afghanistan, I say this is not your business, so stay out of it. What I do in Afghanistan and who I do it for is my business. It's you know, my money, my business. And you know, the money that I owe my sister or brother is my family. So stay away. And I put people out very quickly. And I don't care who it is. I put them out in 3 seconds, you know, and they would shut up and they wouldn't speak again. So, but these girls, the ones that I redeemed, because what does redemption mean? What does Passover mean? The Passover means that you are saving lives, saving people. And that's what Passover means to us. And that's what Passover means to those girls. You know, those girls, they know that I'm a Jew. I'm Jewish. I'm of Jewish bloodline. They know that. They know what I am. They know I'm a Kohen. They didn't say to me, so show us your certificate, please. We want to see your certificate. We want to see your dad's address, you know, that you're real. They didn't say that. Whilst American people here, some of the people that were with us, Rabbi Kefa knows this. Oh, can you show us a certificate? Can you show us your lineage? Can you do this? Can you do that? And I said, no. Why should I show you my lineage? You got no right to it. You know, I'm a son of Aaron, and that's, my word is enough. And my word is true. And you know, my actions follow, and my actions will prove my word. And so my actions proved it. And you know, countless students today, you know, those girls are forever grateful. Forever grateful. And those girls, what can I tell you about them? I can tell you that they're so grateful that they all got coronavirus. Listen, they all got coronavirus over there in captivity because they were isolated. And other people coming and going with corona, you know, these people, bandits, call them whatever you want to, they were with they caught corona. And so, because I sent corona in there, you know, I prayed to God and I said, send corona into that place and let them have COVID-19, all of them. Let them have it. Let them suffer with it. Not the girls, because I knew the girls are going to get it too, but I said protect the girls, but let the others suffer with it. And you know what? Those people, those banditos, some of them died with COVID-19. They died, yes. So, but when I did that, things happened. Things shifted, and those people were dead because they couldn't, you know, they couldn't get doctors fast enough. And so my point is this, that sometimes you have to say, when you have to save lives, you have to do things real tough. And you know, I was a real good negotiator. In fact, there was a time, listen to this, there was a time they got another woman hostage. Like, they just took her captive from Pakistan, and she was a doctor's wife. And I don't know who that woman is. And they were there, and the girls, you know, they told me, one of the girls told me, the one who was managing them told me, she said, you know, they've got this woman and she's hitting her head on the wall, and she belongs to a doctor, and her husband had a heart attack and he is in hospital in Pakistan, and they kidnapped her from the hospital car park or something, and they won't let her go. They're asking for money, and so on and so forth. So I spoke to those guys. I said, you know what, I said, let her go. I spoke to the man there. I said, let that woman go. Oh yeah, the bandits, they prey on the Khyber Pakhtoon, definitely in that area. So that boy they took probably was taken from Pakhtoon, you know, the state, the county. And so I said to them, let that woman go. And they said, you know what, they were asking for like $5,000 to her family. And she said, I don't have $5,000 for you to pay you right now. My husband's in hospital, he's dying. He just had a heart attack. How can I pay you? and they please let me go, and they're like, no, we're not going to let you go. No, you can kill yourself over here, we don't care, because you're just a piece of meat for us, and we'll just discard you. When you're dead, we'll discard you, we'll throw you on the pile of rubbish. That's what happens over there, by the way. So we don't care. They tell these are the hardcore bandidos. So I spoke to one of the guys, and I said to him, I said, let her go, and the money you're asking for is too much. I said, listen, bring the money down. I think it's about $2,000. First they were asking for $5,000. I said, bring the money down, let her go. And he said to me, Simon, I'm gonna do what you asked, and you pay me $2,000, not $5,000, $2,000, and I'll let her go. I said, let her go. You'll get your $2,000. Let her go. I told you. Monday she should be. Sunday. It was on Saturday I spoke to her. I said, Saturday she should be released tomorrow, and Monday you'll get your Monday I will make sure I'll send you $2,000, and she better be free, and no harm should come to her. And they did. They freed her. I took money from UK, $2,000. I think it's from my sister, and I sent it to them, and they freed that girl. So it's not all talk and yabbity yab and crap that you listen to on the internet. This is real people, real flesh and blood. What is the price of flesh and blood? Tell me. Is it $1 million? Is it 5 million? Is it 50 million? What is the price of flesh and blood? And each of you, if your families ever get into that situation, and they might, you may have to come to me and say, Cohen, we need your help, because we know somebody who's got stuck in trouble, and we need your assistance how to do it, because it's priceless. It's priceless. When your loved one is gone, your wife, your son, your daughter, when they go missing, and I've read stories in America of people going missing and they've never been found, like a girl got missing and was never found, a boy, and sometimes you see these on billboards, and you're like, I'm thinking, where did these children go, and where are they? And somebody should try to release them. And the police probably do their job, and they try, and they don't find them. And it's human trafficking. And our previous president, if you remember, the previous president did quite a bit of work on human trafficking, and helped put some gangs into, shut down some gangs, because they were human trafficking from Latin America. And so it happens. Through Latin America, a lot of human trafficking happens. And of course, this is something, I will be honest with you, I don't think any president can stop this. They can slow it down, they can shut down some gangs, but it will never stop, because this has been going on for too long, and it's going to carry on, because as you know, sex sells, and it's all about that. And sadly, many girls, they end up in this this vile circle, this vicious circle, where humans are treated with misery and they are made to suffer. So I say this in peace, that I give thanks publicly. I give thanks to my sister, I give thanks to my brother, I give thanks to the God of Abraham, Isaac, Ishmael and Jacob, that he allowed me this grace, and he allowed me this saving grace, that I hadn't spoken to these people personally, but I did speak to them recently. I did speak to them by phone for the first time, and now I can say, somebody asked me, have you ever spoken to them? And I say, yes I have. Yes I have. So I was proven right and they are proven wrong. The ones who are telling me it's all fraud and it's all just gangs taking money from you, it's proven that I was right and they are wrong. But wait a minute, let me tell you the second part to that story. The father of some of these girls, one father of this girl, he is up there in Pakhtun somewhere. I've never visited him, I've never been to his house. I just know that he's in one of the cities, and he recently he connected with me through a person that I know, and he sent his thanks, and he sent his gratitude. And you know what I did? I sent him chocolates. I bought about 20 dairy milk chocolate in the East, and I sent it to his family. I said, here is some chocolates for you as a gift. You know, give it to everybody in your family and enjoy the chocolates from me, and be happy that your daughter is free, and she will be back. You know, she'll be back home soon. And Ryan is saying that, Ryan is writing that, may the God before whom my fathers Abraham and Isaac walked, the God who has been my shepherd all my life to this day, the angel who has delivered me from all harm, may be blessed these boys, may they be called by my name and the names of my fathers Abraham, Isaac, and amen to that. So this is a wonderful story. It's wonderful. You know, it's definitely true. It's wonderful, and it's definitely true that, you know, what I did is a monumental task. Freeing 7 people is not an easy task, and facing criticism at every level, every, you know, week, facing criticism from people who don't know, just bad mouthing you. And you remember, I will teach you something. It's not about motivation. You know, don't think, oh, you're motivated for 1 week. It's like end of the year, people get motivated to go to the gym. Oh, I'm going to lose weight, and I've written my goals, and I'm going to go to the gym. I've signed up already, and they start to go to the gym, and they buy their kit, they buy their nice, you know, nice shoes, Nike shoes, and they buy their gear, and they start going to the gym, and then, you know, it's about 3 weeks in, and their motivation starts to wear off, and 4 weeks they go, and then suddenly they stop. The motivation is dropped completely, and then that's it. They've already signed up, you know, paid 3 months membership, maybe a 6 months membership, and in the UK maybe a year's membership, and they paid their membership, and now they're trying to cancel it. Now their motivation is finished. Now they're like, oh, you know, this is just a grind. I need to do something else to lose weight. And this happens all over the world, not just in America, not in UK, all over the world is the same. So I want to teach you something that is not about motivation. I spent 3 years of my life with the British Armed Forces, and I learned discipline. I spent many years studying Taekwondo, and I'm an ex-British champion, and I learned perseverance, discipline. So what rewards you is not motivation. What rewards you is discipline. When you want something, you must keep up the discipline. Discipline will see you through, not motivation. Motivation will drop after 2 weeks, and you will no longer be motivated. But if you're disciplined, if you learn discipline, I encourage all of you to send your children to military school, voluntary military school, so they can learn discipline. I will encourage you to send your children to learn the martial arts, whether it's Taekwondo, whether it's Kung Fu, so they can learn perseverance. They can learn, indomitable spirit. They are only going to get those things from those places. They're not going to get it from mom and dad. Mom and dad are not going to give those things, because mom and dad got other things to do. They got to run their lives, they got to go to work, they got to pay the bills. Mom and dad don't have that time. But if you want to give your children discipline, martial arts is key. And if your countries have voluntary military service, many countries have 2 years voluntary service, I would encourage you to send your sons to the military school for 2 years or 3 years, whatever that service is. Send them. In the UK, it's 3 years. You can go for voluntary service, and nobody's forcing you, but you learn real great discipline. And I believe that that's carried me through. The grace of God, the favor of God in my life, and the discipline is where I am today. And I will see every job through. That's me. I will see it through. And so, Baruch Hashem, now, miracles for my students. If you thought that this was John Hagee giving you a lecture, no. This is not John Hagee. And this is not Kenneth Copeland. This is Rabbi Simon Altaf, the Kohen, in the gate. And I can tell you that I have students all over the world, especially in America and in the UK. And the students in America tell me the miracles that are happening in their lives. And they are, one student was telling me that, she was going for a car repair job, and this man, he had a Harley Davidson, and how the Harley Davidson was worth $42,000, something to that effect. $42,000 a Harley Davidson he owns. I didn't even know the Harley Davidson motorcycle was so expensive. It's like buying a car. So his Harley Davidson was $42,000. He managed to sell it for $30-something thousand after using it for a number of years. And he helped my student with her car problem, and she gave him a blessing. She said, God will bless you for helping me. And she said, the man is swamped with work. And the man said, don't send any more work my way. I'm swamped with work. I'm blessed so much. And even I sold my motorcycle for a lot more money than I thought I would. And there's countless miracles like that. Another student that I have, and he wrote to me, he said, Rabbi, I listened to your 10x meditation last time that you did, and I just landed a $20 job. It's become true for me. He had no income before. Now he's on a $20 an hour salary. And there are countless other students that are benefiting with different miracles. Now I want to tell you that this time, like from last night and the whole week till next Sunday, you want to do the Gimel chant. You can do it quietly. You don't have to shout your house down. You do it quietly in your mind. You can do the Lamed chant. You can do the Aleph. You can do the Dalit. You can do the Mem. You can do the sound. You can do the Man sound. Those are biblical sounds. And this is a very powerful time. And when you do this, you're going to generate miracles. Now, for those of you who, this was a question asked to me in private. Can I do the Gimel chant for my car or vehicle? And I said yes, because Gamal is the old word for camel. Camel was the old transport. It was the Mercedes of the desert. So Gimel is also the form of new transportation. It may be a car, it may be an aeroplane, it may be a jet, or it may be a spaceship. So Gimel works for everything because it follows all the different transportation models of today. The ancient camel represents future transportation of every type. So if you're trying to get your car, put your car picture up on your laptop, on your phone, put it up so you can see it, and then start your Gimel. Run it twice on your 108 beats 2 times every day for that car, and that car will materialize into your world with belief, with trust, with belief, with feelings that is claim it as your car. Claim it. Then you will get that car, and then you will get it with belief. So you must have the belief as well. Don't do it half-heartedly. So many students that are doing this, one student, and they don't come to the classes. They just stay out there and they just catch the lecture from the YouTube. One person wrote to me, Rabbi, please pray for my mother. She's very old. She's in her 90s or something, and she's sick, and she's having all sorts of issues. Can you pray for her? And I did. I said sure. And I don't even know that person, so I prayed for that person's mother. And then that person told me that my mother is now well and come out of the hospital. Thank you for praying for her. And then he said, I said, listen. He said, I'm having problems in my life, and I need this and I need that. So I said to him, just if you do nothing else, just get yourself some beads that you can pick up from Amazon or from eBay.com, and just do the Gimel chant. Just Gimel quietly in your mind. And then the person wrote to me another email saying, how do I do, help me understand, how do I, well, no, he goes to me, have you written it in a book where I can read up about this? And I laughed and I said, listen, listen, I haven't written this in a book. I'm telling you what to do, and you just need to go and do it. And as for book, that book written, writing it about in a book, that'll come later. Well, maybe I'll do that in some point. But right now I'm telling you, you go for your life, you do the gimel. All you got to do is hold the beads in your hand. And if you don't have beads, then you just do it on your fingers. It's gimel, 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 gimel. Is that hard? Is it hard to do? So just go do it. And so, some people make it so difficult. Like it's, trying to climb the Himalayan mountains. It's not as a hard climb as people make it. It's simple. And you need to just do the simple thing. I'm not asking you to bend on your knees and face Jerusalem and, and say something, say something a million times before it happens. I'm telling you something simple. Sit on your couch and, if you face the east, that's great because you're facing Jerusalem. But if you face the north, it's even greater because you're facing God's throne and you're ready to go. How difficult is that? It's simple. Simple things work in life. So if you want to be blessed in your life, do it simply, do it easily. You don't need to do jumping jacks. It's very simple, it's very easy, and most of you can have access to these things. You can find a set of beads on internet for about, $5 or $6 a piece. And if you're struggling with $6, then of course you have problems in your life. If you haven't got $6 to your name, you definitely have problems, and you must start this to get rid of those problems, because that's the only way they're going to go. Now, talking about problems, and we'll come back to problems because it's a good thing that I mentioned the word problem. Never focus yourself on the problem. Never focus it. If you have a problem, don't continue to think, oh, I have a problem, oh, I have a problem. Don't ever say that. Don't ever say you have a problem. Or because if you continue to focus on the problem and you continue to tell your neighbor, or you continue to tell your brother that I have this problem, then that problem will cement it becomes an affirmation. And when it becomes an affirmation, your subconscious, your consciousness will bring it to the real world, even more so, and you will continue to see the problems. So what is the way to solve the problem? To solve the problem is not to think about the problem, but only the solution. And if you continue to think about the solution, you will not have the problem any longer. Olivia, thank you for that. Olivia is saying that it's only $2 on AliExpress.com. Is it .com or .co.uk? Maybe it's .com. And so if you go to AliExpress, just Google it. It's .com website, and you focus on the solution. Exactly, Rabbi Kefa. If Thomas Edison focused on the problem, there would be no light today. We'd probably be sitting in the dark. So it's kind of interesting, isn't it? So yeah, don't focus on the problem, focus on the solution, and you'll do well. Now, those of you who didn't, I would first encourage you to go wash your hands with salt. Wash your hands with salt, because I'm going to start that meditation session soon, in the next 3-4 minutes. So just take a little bit salt, put it on your hands, rub it together, and then you wash your hands and come back whilst you're listening to this. And then I'm going to start the meditation, because we're going to do this blessing today, as is Passover for most, for majority of the Jewish nation. So I'll wait on that to start. Now, whilst I'm waiting on that to start, I would say this on the miracle front. Many miracles have happened, and healings have taken place. Amazing healings have taken place. And like I told you, that I can't tell you everything, because when I go through certain areas of my journeys, and I use the word journeys loosely, in my journeys I have to sit between many officials. And we're not talking about little people here like Joe on the street. We're talking about here colonels, majors, superintendent of police, people like that, of that caliber. That's the kind of people that I'm in touch with. Politicians, those are the kind of people I am in touch with in the East. Those kind of bigwigs. So I sit amongst those people and I listen. I don't criticize them. I don't go and say, hey, why aren't you doing this in politics, and why was it that your party did this and that happened? And I don't do that. I just observe, and I just say whatever it is. I just talk to them, and they respect me, and they put me in their home, and they bring they tell their servants, go bring Simon a soda, go bring him tea, and they say, what would you like, Simon? Would you like tea? Would you like coffee? Would you like a meal? We made a sumptuous meal, and we will present it to you. This is the kind of people and respect that I get. You have never traveled into those places. You have never set your foot into those houses. I have access to places you will never set your foot in. I have access to those places where you will never set your foot. They will not invite you in their houses, but I am their guest. I am always invited because I am the Kohen. God has given me that access. Many years ago, when I was sitting in UK and praying, and God said to me, I've opened all the doors to you, and you can walk in and you can do your thing. I've opened big doors for you, and you just got to walk in them. And I do, Baruch Hashem, and I do. And I'm grateful, and I'm forever grateful. I will always be grateful. I'll never ever criticize your you're going to have instances where you might not like something that the officials are doing. So rather than criticize them and create judgment, because Jesus of Nazareth said, judge not, lest you be judged. He was basically telling you, stop criticizing people. Stop criticizing others. Focus on yourself. What does matter? You are the one that matters. You got to focus on yourself. So, though we're in the Passover, our Pasha Zav is from Vayikra. I believe it's from Vayikra, chapter 6, verse 8. And the only thing that I noticed there on this Pasha, or at least, what I picked up on, was Leviticus chapters 6, verse 8. And I'm going to read the verse to you, verse 8. And Yudhewahe spoke to Moshe, saying, command Aaron and his sons, saying, this is instruction of the burnt offering. It is the burnt offering because of the burning upon the altar all night to the morning. And the fire of the altar shall be burning in it. And the Kohen shall put on his linen garment, and his linen undergarments shall he put upon his flesh, and take up the ashes which the fire has consumed with the burnt offering on the altar, and he shall put them beside the altar, and he shall put off his garments, and put on other garments, and carry forth the ashes outside the camp to a clean place. And the fire upon the altar shall be burning in it. It shall not be put out. And the Kohen, the priest, shall burn wood on it every morning, and lay the burnt offering in arrangement, and he shall burn thereon the fat of the shalom offerings. The fire shall ever be burning upon the altar, it shall never go out. And this is the instruction of the grain offering. The sons of Aaron shall offer it before Yudhewahe, before the altar. And he shall take of it his handful of the flour of the grain offering, and of the oil there, and all the frankincense which is upon the grain offering, and shall burn it upon the altar for a sweet savour, even the memorial of it to Yudhewahe. And the remainder there shall Aaron and his sons eat with matzah, unleavened bread, or unleavened roti. Shall it be eaten in the holy place, in the court of the tent of the appointed times they shall eat it. It shall not be baked with leaven. I have given it to them for their portion of my offerings made by fire. It is most holy, as is it the sin offering, and as the trespass offering. All the males among the children of Aaron shall eat of it. It shall be a statute forever in your generations concerning the offerings of Yudhe-Wahe made by fire. Everyone that touches them shall become holy. See, here the God of Abraham tells us that Aaron's sons, that includes me, we are to do certain rituals, and those rituals are holy to us, and only my family is allowed to eat of those rituals. No one else is allowed to eat them, and they are holy, they are most holy, and their blessing is forever. And they were continuously, in every generation, going to do it. Every generation, my sons, my sons' sons, they all got to do it. And it's going to continue to happen. Now, when I was in the East, I was doing certain rituals, and I'll isolate myself in my room, separate room, and I'd say to my wife that I'm not to be disturbed. When I come out, I'll come out, and I'll start doing my rituals. And my wife wouldn't come in unless I asked her to come in, and she'll stay out till I go out, and I will do my necessary burnings, call it altar, call it whatever you want to, and I will finish the ritual, and then I will go out. And my wife knows this, and my wife will say, you're doing all your lotions and potions, I don't know what you do, but whatever you do, it really works for you. Because she's like telling me that whatever you do, whatever you're doing, when you're asking for something, you get it, and when I'm doing it, I don't get it. So you got the power, and I don't seem to have that same power. And so therefore she said to me that you do that for me, and when you do it, you get it, and I know that. And I said, yes, sure, I will do it for you as well. And so, for my students, I also see this in an allegorical way, that Aaron's sons are the ones that teach. They instruct you what to do with the Torah. Now, putting the fire on the altar. Let's imagine for a minute, and I'm going to tie this with Jesus' words as well ahead, and you'll understand, you get a bit more understanding. And there was a passage where Jesus of Nazareth came before certain of his disciples, and certain of his disciples said to him, Rabbi, or they call him Master, or they call him Rabbi, and they say, what is the meaning of this? And he will then go and explain it. And he then said to them, he said, my Father's house has many mansions. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you, I go to prepare a place for you. Now this is in the book of John, chapter 14, verse 2. Now the book of John, chapter 14, verse 2, Jesus, Yeshua, allegorized he was going to build houses in the sky somewhere. And Christians today think, this is how Christians think. They think that Jesus has gone to build mansions in the sky, and they're all going to live there when they die. Well, this is not what Jesus was saying. And I will give you an opinion, and I will tell you that Jesus of Nazareth was teaching allegorically that you are the mansions. Your soul, your body is the mansion. And when he says, I go to prepare a place, he's actually preparing you. Let's bring Jesus to our level. He's preparing you, your minds. And he, allegorically speaking, he lives within you. Your subconscious. Same as Moses. Moses lives within you. As your subconscious, as your consciousness. Let's call it consciousness. And so that is the place that is being prepared. So the altar is exactly the same place. The altar is your consciousness. And the fire that is burning there, and the oil that we put upon it, remember there's a number of things here. It says that the Kohen shall burn wood on it every morning, and lay the burnt offering in arrangement, and he shall burn thereon the fat of the shalom offering. So technically, what is the wood? Wood could be pieces of wood. Remember I showed you that little altar picture. I said you can get these little pieces of flakes. They're like wood. And I said you can get, there's different names for it. And I told you it was Javitri, and there was a couple of other items that I told you last time. And I told you that you can have this little fire, and you can put it in a plate, like a metal plate or a clay plate, and you can put these little items. You can put dried cow dung. You can use dried cow dung, or you can just ignore the cow dung, and you can just use little pieces of wood, just regular wood, and you can light them up every morning, and not every morning but once a week. You light them up and you put, you take your frankincense, because frankincense is mentioned, and you put a couple of drops of frankincense, and then there's a couple of other herbs that I mentioned in my previous lectures, that you take them and you arrange it. And what is a burnt offering? Technically, the burnt offering is your desire, whatever your desire is. You're putting it on your altar. And when you're putting it on your altar, which is your consciousness, let's say you're desiring a job, you're putting it on your altar, and what is the burning continuously from evening to morning? So before you go to bed, you're thinking about that. You're having a solution to your problem. What is the solution to your life? Oh, I need a nice job. I need to have a good salary. So you're working on that solution. And Jesus said to you, I go to prepare mansions for you. Well, he was talking about preparing your mind. He prepares your mind. That is your mansion. The mansion is you, the soul. And Paul, he referred to it as the temple is the body is the temple. So these are all allegories. The Bible is full of allegories. The problem happened that originally, when the scriptures were written, they were mostly spoken allegorically. The Jewish people never took them literally originally. But come to the 12th century, come to the 13th century, 14th century, 15th, 16th, people started to take them literally. This is where the problem began. This is why I said what you read is not, and what is, you do not read. So you mess up. You mess it up entirely, because you're trying to do this because it says literally and it's not literal. It's allegorical. So when we were running the temple, when we were running the tabernacle, we had many things that we did, many rituals, and they connected with our subconscious, with our consciousness. So the priests were the key people that were able to connect with consciousness. And yet today people have completely forgotten, and they mistake Jesus' words. But before I speak on, I'm going to stop and we're going to start our recording. I'm going to record this, and I will put it out separately, where I'm going to invoke the angel Michael, or Michael, the angel of the children of Israel, for our blessings and protection. All of you have joined us today, are partakers of this. And yes, you can listen to this at the end of the session. You can listen to this tomorrow, and you can listen to it every week. And continue to listen to it till your income is 10x, till whatever disease you're dealing with is gone. You're healed. Remember, I'm going to put it on you, and it's nice up to you to receive it. You got to receive it. So sit down comfortably, and I'm going to speak, and you just follow my instructions. Now just relax, sit down, and you can access this recording on the internet as well. So don't worry, it's all recorded, and we'll kickstart it. Okay, I'm going to kickstart it. So you guys get ready, and then after that I'll speak. Okay, it's about the whole process will last about 15 minutes or so, and then I'll carry on after that. So let's issue the blessing to you. All of those of you who entered the room today, welcome, and you're listening to Rabbi Simon Altaf, the Kohen. I want to welcome you. I want to bless you today with the blessing that you may take this forward, and you can after I put the recording out, you can get your children to listen to it. You get your relatives to listen to it. There's no holds barred. It's not like a club where I keep it secret to myself. Yes, I've kept things secret to myself for many years, but now I'm giving it to you in piecemeal, so you also can be blessed. Okay, so we'll kickstart it. Thank you. Shalom. This is a special meditation to invoke an angel to increase your income by 10x, even more so as is the festival of Passover by the Jewish calendar. We will together sit down get ready for this. First of all, you need to wash your hands with a little salt, regular salt or sea salt. Rub that on your hands, wash your hands, and come back. And I will give you a little time to do this. Once you've done that, sit down comfortably with your feet on the ground, palms facing up onto your knees. Or you can lie down and you can have your palms facing up, and you can have your eyes closed or you can have your eyes open. In fact, I would encourage you to keep your eyes closed for this particular meditation, and then we can start. Now, the idea of this is to not only increase your income by 10x, also if you have any illnesses, to heal your illnesses. So also if you need protection, to protect you, to safeguard you. If you have any kind of problems, to bring those problems to the front of your mind, and we're going to seek the solutions from the angel that we're going to invoke. And this is the angel Michael. So I want you to all get comfortable before we start. If you've washed your hands, if you haven't, you can pause this recording, because this will be recorded and put on. You can pause it and you can go, wash your hands, come back, lie down with your palms up. You can copy this to your phone or to your tablet or to your laptop, and you can listen to it at least once a week. Now, right now, as I'm going to record, it's 27th of March 2021, and it is the Jewish Passover festival. This is a special festival which is a festival of protection, blessing, and also redemption. This is a huge, huge festival for our people, because at this time our people were released from bondage and slavery in Egypt under Pharaoh. So a number of things happened. They were freed from slavery. They became masters of their own destiny. Number one. Number two, God did extreme miracles at this time. He punished the Egyptians and he freed his covenanted people and brought them out into the wilderness. He gave them a covenant of Torah. So at this point also he prepared them to receive the Torah laws. And the Torah laws were not given at Passover, but they were given at the Feast of Pentecost. But he prepared them at this time, their minds, their hearts. So we're going to start. I want you to breathe deeply. Breathe in and breathe out slowly. Breathe in. Hold and breathe out. Breathe in. Hold and breathe out. Okay. Michael, present yourself over here to me. Michael, present yourself over here to me. I am putting this pendulum up. Spin this pendulum, Raphael. Spin it. Spin it. Spin it. As the pendulum spins, I know you're present. You are present over here before all these people, this family of Israel that God has commissioned, the God of Abraham, the infinite intelligence, the infinite power has commissioned. So I call you. I am the Kohen in the gate. You know my authority that has placed upon me by the great prophet Moses, that he bestowed upon my father Aaron and his sons. Therefore I am a son of Aaron, and I sit here, and all the people that are present here listening, I commission you to impart energy upon them, your powerful energy. You are the angel of Israel, Michael. You are the angel of ancient days. You are the angel, if you remember, you are the angel that came to Abraham when it was the first Passover with Abraham. And I recall reading in scripture that you came with Raphael and you came to judge. You came to judge Sodom and Amorah. I haven't forgotten. It's right there in scripture, in the Torah. You came to judge, and you had Raphael with you, and you had Gabriel with you, and you went down to Sodom and Amorah, and you went to save Lot's family, and you then issued the judgment to those people. You are the powerful angels of ancient days. We haven't forgotten the great works that you have done. I haven't forgotten that when you came to the prophet Daniel, when he was in the country of Iraq, when you came to him to assist him, and you had to fight principalities and other powers to get to him, to bring forth power, prophecy, and prosperity into his life. So all these people that are present today, they have joined on to the children of Israel. I want you to impart your powerful energy, your powerful energy for the greater good of humanity, for the greater good of these people's families, because their families will benefit immediately from this energy of abundance. Their families will benefit if these individuals are ill, and you heal them today, and you will heal them, and they will benefit from the healing. The scourge that is upon their families, the heartbreak, the suffering that they have gone through, you will remove this suffering. You will remove the scourge. You will bless Israel, because you are commanded to bless Israel. For the greater good of Israel, to be a light unto the nations, for the greater good of their families. You are the benevolent angels that do this for our people. Bless these individuals. 10x their income. Whatever is their income, 10x it. Whatever is their condition in their body, that they are suffering from pain, swellings, other diseases, heal these diseases. Touch them with your energy and heal these people. I command healing. for the greater good of these people's families, for the greater good of humanity. As any wealth they will receive, they'll be able to benefit their families immediately. Then they'll be able to benefit the wider world. And it will be all good. It will be all good. And it's all good. Because it will bring glory to the name of Elohim. It will glorify that name. That name that we submit under. That name that hasn't been pronounced by many of the Jewish people for over 2,000 years, that they do not pronounce in public. The power of Abraham, that is known as Elohim, El Shaddai, Hashem, Adonai. So Michael, if we have to use other angels, such as Raphael, you may do so. Such as Gabriel, you may do so. And you're going to effect healing today, abundance today, protection for these people. And those that are captive, those that are listening, that are captive by whatever lower powers, you're going to free them. They're going to find their freedom today. As I command it, and I bring it down upon this plane of the earth, through the power of the Ruach HaChodesh, the Holy Spirit. The Ruach HaChodesh is also involved in this. Em Chochmah is part of this equation. And these people here are being blessed as we speak. They are being touched as we speak. I thank you that you have presented yourself. I am extremely grateful that you have come down to do this task today on this special, auspicious day, on this day of the festival of Pesach, when we passed over, when we crossed the sea, and Moses parted the sea and we crossed over. And the enemies were pursuing us, but they could not harm us. Because angels stood between us and them. They could not touch us. And God's name was glorified. I thank you. I thank you that you presented yourself here. I thank you that you're blessing these people. I thank you that you're removing their diseases as we speak. That you're touching them. You're removing their diseases for the greater good of their families, for the greater good of humanity, to be a light unto the nations. I stand and I sit and I ask you to do this today. To 10x their income, to effect healing, to touch them. I feel your presence. I feel that you are present. I feel your presence like electricity around me. I want to thank you for what you have done today. Michael, 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 may the name of Elohim be esteemed and glorified forever and ever. Thank you for touching these individuals. Thank you for bringing healing into their lives. Thank you for bringing abundance into their lives. Thank you for 10xing their income. Thank you for your faithfulness to the Elohim of Abraham. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Michael, Michael, Michael. As you come in peace, you may go in peace. Toda Rabba, Toda Rabba, Toda Rabba. Okay, great. Now you can open your eyes, and we are done with this. Baruch Hashem, Yudhevahi, Baruch Hashem, the God of Abraham, and Baruch Hashem, for all of you that took your time to attend, I thank you. And those of you who will listen to this, this has now been recorded, and those of you who listen to it after 27th of March 2021, you will still continue to reap the blessing. Because this is wonderful. It's wonderful. And I want to give you a beautiful affirmation that you need to write, and that you will start to use. As I said earlier, if only you said, it's wonderful, it's definitely true, that would be enough. But we're going to go even a little step further. Sure, James, I'll send you that after the class, when I cut the recording. So, you're going to say this, it's wonderful, it's definitely true, I'm a multimillionaire, or a multimillionairess. So you're going to say, it's wonderful, it's definitely true, I'm a multimillionaire. Or if you're a male. If you're a female, you're a multimillionairess. So you add that to the end of it, and you continue to repeat that every day. 3, 4, 5 times. Whenever you remember, you say it. Whenever you remember, it comes to your mind, you say it. And by the way, there is a person in this room that shall remain nameless. And that person, I only sent him some affirmations like one night before, and he got a tremendous blessing the next day. Tremendous blessing. So I don't know if that person said those affirmations out loud that night I sent it to him, or whether he didn't or did, but he got blessed, and he was like extremely grateful. He wrote to me and said to me, HaKohen, I thank you for your teachings and for Rabbi Kefa's teachings. I will never leave you no matter what. I will always be with you, because you have tremendously changed my life. In those kind of words. So with that, I thank you. I want you to continue to be diligent. Remember what I said to you. It's not about motivation. You can be motivated for 1 week, for 1 hour. But in order to be lasted, in order to last for a solution, you need to be disciplined. Now, I was speaking about the Bible, and maybe I'll speak more about that next week, about this criteria of what happened, and why we went from the allegorical to the literal and then back to the allegorical. So we'll maybe speak about that a little bit another time. But what's important to know is that not all scripture should be read literally, because there are allegorical, typological things in there. And also I want to reiterate what I told you when I was in the East. I want to iterate that you, on your hands, the 3 things you need to write is the number 613 on your arm, the number 8, and I'm doing it right now as I speak, 888, and the number 10 twice. And then remember, I told you that you need to write the kuf, and you need to write the alif. You can see on the internet what it looks like, the Hebrew alphabet. And you need to write the vav. Call on to me, and I will show you great and wonderful things. That's what this represents, and that's what God declared, by the way, in the book of Jeremiah, chapters 33:3. It's very, very powerful. And you effect that, you put it on your hand. And if you don't want to put it on your hand, you put it somewhere else on the left side of your body, wherever you desire, on your leg, if not on your arm. If you don't want to show it to people, it's up to you, but that's what you do. Okay, so be wise, continue to be due diligence, continue with the due diligence, and you are a blessed nation. You are a blessed people, and no one can take that away from you. No one. Because I imparted to you, and as the previous prophets of ancient days imparted it to you, and I do the same to Da Rabba, and over to you, Rabbi Kefa. Thank you. Thank you, thank you.
Tada Rabah HaKohim. If I can be heard, can I get a 1? First of all, I would like to give thanks to the Kohim and welcome them back to this side of the pond, this side of the many, many rivers and many, many oceans that were crossed to get here to America. Tada for your responses, by the way. And I would also like to tell you, all of you who are listening via YouTube or you're listening on the Facebook outlets that are out there, all the social media outlets, that you know, what you heard here, you won't ever hear anywhere else. You just won't. For those of you who have been out there searching for many waters out there, you're hopping and skipping from listening to this person. As I stated before, for those of you who you've been searching and you've been listening to this room and that room and the other room, and what you're witnessing is truly historic as the children of Israel. And for those of you who may be skeptical or on the fence, the proof is in the pudding. I tell you, it's quite amazing. It's quite amazing. Because says, you're quiet for a loud voice today. Yeah, I'm working on my Luther Van voice. This is the romantic side. Yeah, baby. Yeah. So it's quite amazing, and it's indeed wonderful continuously. And I would really, really admonish and cheer you on and tell you to stay the course, because where you are is where you need to be. But the problem comes in is like what I stated earlier, when you really go out there and you begin to listen to many other waters out there, you listen to and you're searching, and I get it. You're trying to find a place. Your desire is to find a place where you can feel comfortable. And as a student, there you go, Perry White. As a student of human nature, I'll tell you this. I've been out in the garden, so I've been working a lot in the garden, and there's a lot of pollens out there. The wife has her honey-do list for me that I do enthusiastically, and I do it with joy, and I do it with fervor. So, a lot of allergens in the air, but indeed, they haven't affected me. They've only changed my voice into another style, which my wife kind of likes, actually. So pollens have become a friend of mine. But it's something to consider going forward. As some of you can sympathize and empathize with those who are definitely out there, trying to find a comfortable place. Because at the end of the day, human beings, and as a student of human beings and human nature, folks want to feel comfortable. Plant kingdom, animal kingdom, and the human kingdom is that you must begin to you must find that place where you're comfortable, and it's more important to find the place where you're comfortable with yourself, because there's a big difference between being comfortable and being comfortable within your own self. Yeah, always and forever, Shabbat Shalom to you. That is absolutely a great remedy, and honey is truly a part of the regimen. The honey with the I take it with the what do they call that stuff? The stuff that's in there, the wax that's in there. I eat that too with the comb. Yeah, the comb. I like that too. We have a lot of local honey entrepreneurs here in San Antonio. We actually grow some good honey here, and so at our local nursery over here, we have almost like a bartering place where you can go and you can barter things and people exchange, things that they have created. And, another thing, and I remember how Kohen mentioned this one time before, is that an individual was so disciplined and so devoted to wanting to really, come back to the way that they couldn't circulate the money for beads, but they actually made beads. I remember hearing that. I was like, that's amazing. That's showing your discipline, and that is definitely showing a drive to want to just go out. All these D words coming out, that you want to just go out and you want to accomplish what you want to accomplish by any means necessary. I remember that from some movie. By any means necessary, you're going to make it happen. And with our way of life, and I know it may be uncomfortable to a lot of folks at first to begin to understand. I mean, you have to put the mind to one side, because your mind will deceive you, and your mind will let you down, and your mind will confuse you. You just literally have to do it. And the testimony, I've been following HaKohen with what's been going on with his situation, with the details that he does give me. And I will say this, is that with the testimony that you heard today, these women may not understand and know what a Jew is, but they have experienced a Jew. You know what I mean? By the actions. And I tell you, there's no bigger action than freedom, right? And how apropos that these women were freed right around the time of our Passover. My goodness. It is definitely continuously amazing and indeed wonderful. I tell you. So we have to examine and look at these things going forward and say to ourselves, what makes us comfortable and what gives us comfort. Now, anybody know where I'm going with this word comfort? HaKohen talked about it in the great blessing and that he has given us for that. Well, I mean, that was another first. Gabriel, now Michael. No, first it was Raphael. Now Michael. I look forward to Gabriel as well, Bukashir. But he mentioned the Holy Spirit. There you go, Yael, woman of the tent. The Im-Chochmah, Mother Wisdom. Now, I can guarantee you, if you can quiet yourself down long enough, you will really be able to hear Im-Chochmah, the Mother Wisdom. You begin to hear her speak to you and give you guidance and direction. And where is all that coming from? It's coming from inside of you. It's coming from your inwards, your inwards. It's coming from deep within you. That voice is there, but times in our lives that voice has been quieted. Because instead of looking for finding comfort ourselves, we're looking for comfort in other things. And we don't get to the root source of where comfort really is. And comfort is being comfortable within yourself and not looking for things outside of yourself to find the comfort or that comfort zone. I can guarantee you, if I ask for a survey of how many people in this room desire comfort and wants to be comfortable, everybody would say yes. I'll guarantee you, Rabbi Kefa, that's right up my alley. That's my wheelhouse, is to be comfortable. To be comfortable within my own self. Not seeking comfort. I have tried. I'm very experienced in seeking comfort in a woman, in a physical woman, and that model doesn't work. I'm talking to you from experience now. If you desire to seek comfort and put your comfort in a woman, then you're going to be let down. I can guarantee you, and vice versa. for the women in the room. If you desire and seek comfort in a man, then you're going to be let down. Because first of all, the comfort has to come from within yourself. You have to feel comfortable within your own self. Knowing what you want, knowing what you desire. Right, Prince? You got to ask the right questions. What do you want? I want you to list me exactly what do you want. You see? Now, you're coming from a comfort point of view where, okay, you're coming from your inward comfortability point. Well, okay, this is what I like and this is what I don't like. I like doing this and I don't like this. I like eating these kind of foods. I don't like eating these kind of foods. You see? This is coming from within you. Say, well, I'm going to eat this food because I saw this commercial on TV and this man was eating this food or this woman was eating this food and I want to be just like that woman. No, you want to be just like yourself. You want to be comfortable with you. And who else is going to help you give you that comfort? Because I can tell you, I remember this just like it was yesterday. I'm in a closet speaking in tongues, literally in my closet, because I read the Bible. That's all the way I knew how to read the Bible was literally. Well, these words, you take them literally. Literally, then I understood. No, that's not. As I matured and as I continue to mature, I understood that it's not the real take. Because at the end of the day, more importantly is who do you listen to. But even more importantly, who wrote it? You know what I mean? Isn't that even more important? Who do you listen to? And even more important is who wrote it. Because the author behind it has an agenda. Is his agenda for his own selfish means and desires? Or is his agenda truly that of compassion and love and really wanting to help people? Because when we look at the Passover, can we say not one of the key adjectives behind the Passover is help, right? H-E-L-P, spell it out. See it, help. That's one of the key things behind the Exodus out of Egypt, was that people wanted help. People needed help. Now, as you also will learn, and have learned from our Kohen's testimony, is that help comes in many forms, does it? And in many different ways. It can come in help. And normally, remember we talked about the vertical relationship and the parallel relationship last Shabbat? It's very important if you really want to get that vertical right, that you establish a lot of parallel relationships. Because in those parallel relationships are blessings. So, it's not to the advantage of the individual that wants to segregate themselves or move themselves away from humanity or separate and come off the grid. That's totally counter to what the Creator and Source and Powers wants you to do. We are energy. Energy don't discriminate. It's energy. Now, there's different levels, or let's say strengths of energy. And it brings me to the title. Strength and power. You see, but they say words have power, but that's not the all in all to it, right? Words have power if you believe in those words, right? And that can go either way. If somebody tells you and have been telling you your whole life that you're not going to be anything, guess what happens if you believe that your whole life? You're not going to be anything. Words have power if you believe in those words. You see, if you receive the words and you truly believe them, and you begin to literally meditate on the words, and you begin to think about those words all the time. I mean, let me take you back to the day for a minute, Mishpahah. How many of you remember those times when you first fell in love? Anybody? Put up a capital L. Maybe it was your first love, or when you realized when the hormones kicked in that, how many of you remember that time when you first fell in love and you could just picture it just like it was like yesterday, and it was so innocent and it was so naive because you didn't know, but you knew you had this feeling within you towards another person. To talk for your responses, by the way. Because I'm going to tell you, as Israel, we are lovers. We'll fight when we have to, but we're lovers. So you remember when you had that first love? And you remember the feelings that you have? And do you remember the thought process? All you could think about was that other person, like, wow. And you would envision you guys doing things. Some of you even had dreams, right? You would even have dreams with that other person about us doing things. And, you know, science calls them wet dreams. And we all go through them. And when we hit puberty, you start having those wet dreams about events that's going to take place with a person of opposite sex. You begin to imagine, and you begin to think, and that's your whole world. And all the action that you take revolve around showing the individual that you love them. You know, things that you could do, things that will show that person, man, that I really do care about you. Yeah, we throw that love word around out there like it was just, you know, a piece of, like an M&M. But there's more to it, and it's deeper than that. And it can be innocent, and it can be so, and it can be a place of purity. But you remember when you had that first love, and it's like the actions that you took, the things that you did to either get the attention of that individual or to draw a feeling of mutual respect. Because when you first fell in love, it was kind of difficult for you to just tell the person, I love you. But what you wanted to do is you wanted to show that person in the action that you did take. It could be sitting. I mean, I'm pretty sure in your game that either food in some way was in it, either a dinner at a restaurant, or definitely chocolate. Chocolate is like is the food of love to me, in my opinion. Now it could be, for some of you it may be chicken, but to me, chocolate. Some of you it may be flowers. For others, it may be different things that sets it off. Always in favor says cheesecake. Ooh, all right, always in favor. That's all right. Cheesecake is on top of my list as well. Always, I'm a cheesecake for any time. But whatever it is, it was an action that you took to draw the individual, or at least to get their attention, to let them know, hey, I have some feelings for you, different have feelings for any other person. So I want to do things that are gonna be special and geared and focused just on you. It's a beautiful thing. Now, the strength of your love, how do you judge love just outside of just words, as we're talking about? Yeah, there's power in words, but power in words if you begin to believe them. Now, how do you make a person believe that they love you? Well, we just gave many different descriptions of doing that. Some folks, it just may be, having a romantic dinner, and playing some Barry White or some Luther Vandross. And that just sets the mood, Well, since, baby, I'm not good at telling you that I love you, let somebody else tell you and show you the ways. You know what I mean? let somebody else that's more experienced in this area explain exactly how I'm feeling. And I thank God for music. How many of you are fans of music? I thank God for music. Music has a way of doing that. And believe it or not, contrary to popular belief, from them folks out there that tell you, oh, music is evil. Oh, music is totally not evil. Music is evil if you believe it's evil. You see, music is a great device, and it is a device that is used within our way of living and our way of life as the people of the books of Hebrews. Our ancestors loved, and we love dancing as well. So when they tell you if you're dancing, you're evil, you're going to hell, don't believe the hype. It's a sequel. Don't believe all of that stuff out there. They're trying to tell you to prevent you from being successful and having paradise now. Because last time I checked, when you're taking your last breath, and we're looking at your physical body, it can't move. You cannot sit there in your casket or 7 feet under doing the electric slide, or you moonwalking like Michael Jackson. It just does not happen. So music too is another device that can be utilized to put you in a state a state of happiness, a state of joy, love, and peace. But you must be careful. Because some of that stuff you listen to, I'm like, man, it makes you want to go jump off a bridge. So you got to be so selective on what you listen to. Yeah, and it does go back to who you listen to. You got to be selective on what you do listen to. Because if you're not strong enough, that music has the power and the strength to deviate and to detour you and to actually change your direction if you allow it to do so. I sit there and I watch things, and I watch people playing music, and before you know it, they're all doing the same thing. Either if the music is making people rowdy, everybody, it's contagious. It starts spreading. Everybody else all of a sudden, I don't know why I feel this way, but I want to get rowdy. I want to hit somebody upside the head with something. Like, what the hell? But that's what, you see, these are people that are weak-minded, weak in their consciousness, to where they can be easily swayed. And there are a lot of devices in this world that can easily sway people. One of the things, as we resort back and we look back to our Passover, is this, is that, here's the question that I have, and this is the question that we can put in play today in 2021 as well, is, do you want to be free? And here's the answer. As a student of human nature, a lot of people don't want to be free. A lot of folks are comfortable with where they are. You know what I just said? They're not comfortable within themselves, but they're comfortable with where they are. Because they never want to deal with the comfortable factor within themselves. So they'll just be comfortable with where they are, and they choose. How many of you know people like that? And your people of human nature, people don't want to be free. They don't want freedom. And I can show you, and I'm going to show you right here in our Passover, that, let me give you this example, and it's a true to life example, is that when it came time for rescue, when it came time for the protection, to put the blood on your doors, on your doorposts, that some of the Hebrews didn't do it. Believe it or not, just like coming out of Egypt, some of the Hebrews didn't come out. How many of you understand that? Some of the Hebrews didn't come out. They didn't come out. They decided, no, we're comfortable here making bricks. They're not comfortable within themselves, because they were probably some of the major ones crying out for assistance and help. But at the same time they were crying out for assistance and help, their choice was to still stay and make bricks. Some people are comfortable just crying out for help forever. They'll cry out for help. They won't take charge. They won't take any actions to actually benefit their situation. There are a lot of folks like that at Torah. Believe it or not. Let me give you a real life story today in 2021. It is very difficult for me to, I'm not trying to persuade, but to talk to my siblings about a quality of life now. Because my siblings are more focused on a quality of life in the world to come. It's very difficult for them to understand that they can have paradise right now, that heaven is here on this earth. They still believe that heaven is coming in the afterlife and all their rewards. They suffer now and they get the rewards on the other side. And I'm like, wait a minute. Why do you even have to suffer? See, it's very difficult for them to see that. Easy for me to explain. But it's very I can say it with my words and they're powerful, but at the end of the day, it's weak to them. It's weak water, and they don't want to drink of that water because they're happy with where they are. It's a state of being, Mishpahah. It's a state of being. You see? Where do you want to be? Some folks don't even know that, even to this day. And I just send out and I emit love to my siblings. These are people that we come from the same blood. They see me living a particular kind of lifestyle, and I'm happy, and they respect that. And I see them living a particular lifestyle, and I'm happy, and I respect that as well. That's letting your light shine. And that's a great example of being neutral. Now, that story, which is a real life story, I'm living it today, is something that you all maybe have seen or witnessed as well, or even going through as well. You know, you say, yeah, Rabbi, keep on exactly what you're talking about. You can see it in friends, family members, loved ones, acquaintances. And they'll sit there and they'll quote you the Bible up and down until the cows come home. And they can give you some good verses, powerful verses. But the power and the strength in those verses is watered down. Why? It's because the individuals don't know how to take action on those words. Or they don't understand that wasn't supposed to be literally meaning. This is what's really going on behind the scenes. Now, as you've been taught here by our Kohen, is that there are layers to the Torah that you have to peel away at. You all understand this, right? They're just layers. You know, and our 22 characters are powerful. And they will move you from strength to strength if you know how to use them properly. If they can be used. And see, this is why I firmly believe that our history is shrouded in a way. Yeah, you get some of our Hebrew history out there, but a lot of it is shrouded and a lot of it is hidden. Because a lot of things are not for everybody. I can guarantee that right now that Hakohen is not going to put everything about our history and our way of life out there to just the masses. That's not going to happen. Now, you'll get some golden nuggets here and there that'll be thrown out, and if people heed it and begin to apply it and begin to use it and begin to believe by how putting it into action, then they'll see, great things happen in their life. Because it's not about the collective, it's about the individual. When the individual, can can get happy, get at peace with himself, then that benefits the collective. See, but it's vice versa in the thought process. The thought process is that, let me get with the collective that's happy and I'll be happy. No. Reverse that. Reverse engineer that. And let me make myself happy, and then I'll make the collective, meaning everybody else around me, happy. You get it? You see, this is why that, the religious model, in my opinion, didn't work for me. How many of you, let me explain this scenario to you, and then how many of you will give me a hell yeah, that's totally just how it was for me? When you would go into these religious institutions on Sunday church or Wednesday Bible study, whatever it was, and it would make you feel good. You would feel good. And then as soon as you would leave the church and go back home to your home environment, it had all dissipated and vanished. How many of you that you can sympathize and empathize with what I just stated? It's like, yeah, you were feeling good in there, but then when you get back home, it was like it had weakened, and it's like it was almost like nothingness. This is the point I'm getting at. It's out for your responses that you have gone through that experience. It's because you went with what the collective was doing and how they felt. So you never internalized it for yourself from the very beginning. You were never happy from the very beginning within your own self. But you went to a place that would make you happy for a minute, for a few minutes. Some instances for a couple of hours, right? You would go to those places to make you happy. But what Hakohen is teaching us in our way of life as the Hebrews is that we be happy. You see? We be peace. We be love. And I'm not talking Ebonics here, but no, you be happy. You be, that's your being. That's the very essence of who you are. That's the difference. We be belief. You notice in the word belief is the word be. Anybody ever saw that? Look, if you look at, write the word belief down. And within belief is the word be, because that's what you have. That's what you be. I'm not speaking Ebonics here, but I'm just saying that's what you be. But it has to be internalized. You have to make it a part of you. Thus, it'll spring out. You see, we reverse engineering stuff. Because in the nations, we've been taught a certain way. And now, we have to re-engineer it back to the way of who we really are. I call it the conditioning. We've been put through the conditioning. Now, we have to put the shampoo in our hair to take the conditioning out. You know what I mean? And then just let our hair grow how it's going to grow. How we want it to grow. If you want to go cut your hair, go cut it. If you want to let it grow long, grow long. If you want to go put highlights in there, go get you them highlights, baby. Or men, for that matter, because I guess men are putting highlights in their hair now too. I don't want to discriminate. I am neutral. And I love this. I love the position of neutrality. Just keep it neutral. Because I'm not here to offend anyone. I'm not here to shame anyone. But I am here to help. And that's what our Passover is all about. Help, right? And I love the way Hakohi broke down. I can see Prince was excited about it too. How he broke down, well, how do we take Leviticus 6 and how do we take and apply it in 2021 to ourselves? We don't have a standing temple. The altar is not in operation right now. So how does that pertain to Israel first in the nations? And to this day, I've never heard it explained the way Hakohen can explain it. Why? Because we're going to give you this verse right out of our Torah, Mishpahah. Right out of this Parsha. Leviticus chapter 8, verse 36. So Aaron and his sons did all things which Yahweh commanded by the hand of Moshe. So Aaron and his sons did all things which Yahweh commanded by the hand of Moshe. That's Leviticus chapter 8, verse 36. That's from the Abrahamic-Faith Bible. Why that verse? Because of this. Who do you listen to? And who wrote it? Point of view. There's a lot of different teachings going out there that put themselves under the umbrella of the Torah. All of you are watchers. All of you are witnesses to that very point. All of you have been on YouTube, and you've been out there as you were seeking and searching to find your way back home. And you've been out there, you've heard a lot of things. My desire is that a lot of that stuff you did not receive. And you just let it go. Because if you don't reject it, then it becomes a part of you. And then before you know it, it becomes a part of your being and you begin to believe it. A lot of folks are allowing themselves to believe things and are hanging on to things that just don't make, a hell of sense. It just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And how it's affecting their reality about real life. Again, talked about it last year about wasted energy. You don't need to waste your energy on just things that are of no relevance to you or your family. Why this verse right here? Aaron and his sons did all the things which Yahweh commanded the hand of Moshe. Here it is spelled out. Who do you listen to? As the people of the books, I'm going to listen to Aaron and his sons, period. I know who I am. At my very being. I believe I am Israel at my very being. So it's a way of life that we live. It's a lifestyle that we live. And what I'm learning as a child of the Most High, as a child of Israel, is that our way of life is totally different from what I've been taught. It's totally different. I accept that. And it's also beautiful in a way, because now I'm starting, just like a baby, I'm starting to really understand how to walk. That's the best way I can put it. And it's a beautiful thing. And it is indeed wonderful, continuously. But if I would begin to explain this to different people around me, they would think I'm crazy. Number one, they would think I'm satanic. They would think I'm probably in somebody's cult. They would think I'm be worshiping the devil. I'm like a demonic person because I'm doing these things. And this is an important thing you must understand. And I don't know if the wise will understand it. He kind of got this in Hakoy's lecture. That some of these things, that's what kills me about the most. Yeah, indeed. I couldn't mention this in the lecture about his wife. His wife saying, how come these things work for you, but they don't work for me? See, some of these things we just do, and the strength meter and the power in it will be given to certain individuals. And then, we all at different levels. I want you all to understand that. But for some of these things, is that they're not to be, let's just say, given out, even to those that are close to us. Some of these things need to be kept as close to us as even ourselves, whilst others can be given out, because a lot of people just can't handle it. And for a lot of folks, it just won't work. The strength meter just won't work the way it's working for you, right? So we must guard the Torah, more importantly, because the Torah instruction given by Moses is for the Kohanim to give to us. This is what I'm getting out of that verse. And this is what it's always been. Shabbat Shalom, Nachshon, in all his glory. Shabbat Shalom, that big smile. So it's very important for us to understand that, is that the instruction in that verse that we read in Leviticus chapter 8, verse 36, by the hand of Moses, in 2021, how do you see that by the hand of Moses? I'm seeing that as the Torah. The Torah. The hand of Moses is the Torah. Right? The hand of Moses is the Torah. Now, who are the benefactors of the Torah? Well, it depends on who you listen to. But if you listen to Aaron and his sons, then Israel will truly be the benefactors of the Torah. Because that Torah coming from Aaron and his sons will be pure. It's beautiful. It is wonderful. And Simha will have questions about what do I do in 2021 about Zoom, and you'll get an answer that's going to be beneficial to Simha. It's not restrictive. You see, contrary to popular belief, the Torah is so inviting and wide. Yet, people outside, like the most that Always and Forever talks about, sees the Torah as restrictive, as binding, as legalistic. How many of you heard those terms before? Well, these are not the terms. Once you're under the umbrella of the Torah, you'll see how wide and broad the Torah really is. And you'll see true freedom that comes from the Torah, right, Nachshon? Yes. That's an amen from Nachshon. So, it's very important for us to understand that. But we cannot understand it unless we begin to believe it and internalize it and make the Torah us. Make us the Torah and the Torah us. But we see under the umbrella of the Torah that many folks misunderstand the Torah, not due to any fault of their own. Yeah, that's Papa. Not due to the fault of themselves, but due to the fact of who they listen to. We all are so blessed to be able to listen to a Kohen. Do you know how historic this really is in 2021 to be able to have the ear and the eye and the voice of the Kohen in our gate? It truly is. Otherwise, we would be just like the wandering Israel out there. That's still out there in 2021. They're still out there in 2021. And they can't find their way. Yet, not to know part of their own, because they're out there looking, and they're searching, and they're trying to find a place where they're comfortable. But the comfortable factor of it, the whole matter is that you have to understand Israel in ancient times, in the forever times, had structure and order. And we would listen to Aaron and his sons. Just like the verse says right there in chapter 8 of Leviticus, verse 36. Aaron and his sons did all the things that Yahweh commanded by the hand of Moshe. You see, the Hebrews at that time weren't saying, well, let me wait on God. I'm going to pray and I'm going to wait on God to give me an answer. No, all the answers came from Moses. Through Moses to Aaron and his sons, which made everything happen. You cannot function, Israel, even today in 2021, without the Kohen in the gate. You cannot function. Israel can't function without the Kohen in the gate. This is how we move. And just a quick reminder, as we come up on the festivals, or you may already be in the festival, don't come to any of our feast days empty-handed. Do not come empty-handed. Bring your offerings to the Kohen in the gate. Do not come empty-handed, Mishpah, for your benefit. So we must consider these things going forward. It's like, okay, who are we going to listen to? Israel. If you proclaim with your lips that you're Israel anywhere out there on these social media airwaves, come to the feet of the priesthood. And you'll know, because there's a marked difference in strength, not put a strength or power, in the understanding of the words of Moses that comes from a son of Aaron than that comes from a commoner or someone that puts themselves under the umbrella of the Torah. That's just hands down. You'll see it. You'll see it based upon their actions and how they teach and what they say. And more importantly, what they're doing. You'll see if there's an alignment. There's a big trust factor issue amongst humanity today. People get hurt, and then they don't trust you anymore. Or they don't trust the system anymore. Because they were hurt one time, maybe two times, maybe even three times. Shame on me. 3 times, shame on me. And so they won't continue. Like I already said, they won't be disciplined enough to continue on with their quest. They'll just give up on the quest altogether. It's because they've been rejected or shot down so many times. I would encourage you all not to do that and not to be that. Obstacles are a part of our way of life. In the spirit of the Passover, you should know that. And my goodness. But there is no obstacle that can come against the children of the covenants. There is no obstacle. But you must realize that the obstacles are going to be there. And the obstacles are there to give esteem and praise to the powers of the Most High, the powers of Israel. But also at the same time to strengthen and empower yourselves as well as individuals. I embrace the obstacles because I anticipate, surmounting them. Don't know how it's going to happen, but love to as it happens. Because I don't sit there and I don't ponder on the problem. There's no such thing as a problem because I see every situation as a solution. Oh man, what kind of unique solution are we going to come up with this time? Because all of our solutions will be unique in our own ways. That's what makes us so special, Israel. There is a solution to every so-called problem out there. So don't focus on the problem. If people put all their energy on the problem, you can never get to the solution. The Israelites, the Hebrews, they were dealing with this when Moses came on the scene and told them, look, man, I'm coming to get y'all out of here. I'm paraphrasing. I'm coming to get y'all out. It's time to exodus and let's get out. Yeah, wait a minute. Who are you? I mean, where are your credentials? What's his name? You know what I mean? Not, okay, next solution up. Let's try it. Let's go. What's the plan? You see, they were so beat down. We're being let down. Don't let that happen to you, Mishpah. Some of you cannot get a new relationship right now. You're on Power Talk right now, and you on Facebook right now, or you listening on YouTube, and you cannot get into another situation. Why? Because you won't allow yourself to get in another situation because of what happened in the past. You can't get onto a new relation. You can't get on to a better job because you so hurt and you have your panties in the water about how they treated you on the last job. Or you want to become antisocial because everybody around you treats you bad or looks at you funny. You got to get beyond that. Gird up your loins and strengthen yourself, Mishpahah. Gird up your loins and strengthen yourself. Realize who you are. Know who you are within your very being. That's where belief starts, within your being. And I'm not talking much, but who you be. That's what's important. Who you be. Well, who do you want to be? You see? Who do you want to be? You see? Problems. No. Your thing is solution, because you have the solution, and it's already within you. But all our energy, can you imagine your energy just being sucked up? All your energy being sucked up on the negativity and focusing on the problem instead of all the solutions that we have. We have so many solutions at our disposal. So many solutions. And yet our ancestors, the Hebrews, lolly-dotty, everybody should have been on the train on the way out of Egypt, but they weren't. What was the hiccup, pray tell? They weren't comfortable within their own self. They were just comfortable with their surroundings. And this is why a lot of people will live and die in the church, is because church makes them comfortable. Not within their own self, they're just comfortable as a collective, as a group. And I say, if that makes you happy, so be it. I'm not going to try to pull you away from your little bit of happiness, because I'm not just happy 2 hours a day on the Sunday. I'm happy 24/7, 365 continuously. Baruch Hashem. What has done that for me? My belief in myself and who I am. A lot of people go through life, surprise, and not even know. They don't know who they are. They only know about who they've become. That's past tense. Let me give you something that Hokma gave me this week. It's awesome. I'll give you something she gave me as I was commuting, just in my quiet time. Beautiful. Mother Wisdom. You may know her as the Holy Spirit. Let's take a driving lesson for a minute. How many of you drivers in the room? You have a license or you just drive? Put up a capital D, you a driver. Okay. Now, when you're driving, this is a great lesson. I was like, wow, Hokma, that's amazing. When you're driving, the majority of the time that you spend focused on is where? Is it in the front, looking forward, looking behind, or looking on left and right side? All the drivers in the room. Think about that for a minute. So stop for your responses, drivers. You got some proud drivers in the room, and I'm proud with you. And I say that now with humility, but I love driving. And when you're driving, most of your time when you're driving, where's this? Looking to the left or the right, looking forward, or looking behind you? And here's the more important question I want to zoom in on. Percentage-wise, what is the percent of your time driving looking behind you? Percentage-wise, out of 100%, what would be the percentage of your time looking behind you? Anybody want to give me a percent? Like, out of 100%, what's the percentile of you spend driving looking backwards, looking behind you? Like, okay, let me see what's behind me. And this is not a trick question. You say, well, Rabbi, you tried to tell me I start driving. No, I'm not telling that. Okay, some folks say 30%, 5 to 10%, maybe 5, 10%, 15, 50, 25% looking behind you. And that's good. That's good. So you're saying like the other 75, the other 80%, the other 90%, you're looking forward. You see? Now, take that analogy and apply it to whatever your so-called problem is, because it's not a problem. Oh, your situation. You see? Your situation feeling, okay, well, I need to look on forward. Okay, yeah, I see that there's behind me. I got that. All right, my son. You got some yogurt. You eat it up, son. So it's all about, always and forever. I hope you get it now. You with me? Because we riding together. And if I'm in the passenger seat and you're the driver always available, I guarantee you, I want you continuously looking forward, because we're trying to reach our destination. Baruch Hashem. Right now, Sean? We're trying to reach our destination. I'm not trying to look backwards so I can, run into the car next to me and cause all kind of problems, or we just, we had a head-on collision with a truck. That one's for you, Prince. We get in a head-on collision with a truck, now, Sean? No, I want us going forward. I want you to look forward, because I'm looking forward to what's ahead. Baruch Hashem. This is why I look forward, right now, Sean? Now, Sean looking forward to some yogurt right now. So, this is what's important. But most folks, they want to spend time in the rear view mirror, or looking to the left and to the right. Left and to the right gets you in a lot of trouble too. You drive forward, straight ahead. Yeah, the road may have some curves in it, and so be it. The road may narrow on you, so be it. But you always, and you're constantly looking, what's ahead, what's forward for me? What do you see forward for yourself? Rubbernecking, yeah, that's what they call it. That's that terminology they use. You see? What do you see for yourself forward? And this is where our affirmations come in, our visualization come in, our scripting comes in. This is forward looking. We're always looking forward. Now, Israel, you all know, family, we learn from what happened behind, right? So, looking behind is not bad. It's not bad to look back. We can learn from our ancestors, can't we? We can learn from our ancestors, the Hebrews. You see? But we keep it looking forward in whichever way we want to go. Forward with a house, forward with a mate, forward with a car, forward with a job, forward with some money, now, Sean. Now, Sean looking forward to some yogurt right now. So that's what we need to consider going forward for our lives, is to look forward. What are you looking forward to? They're not saying what are you looking past for. Well, no, what are you looking forward to? Think about that for a minute. Always ever says, remember the line, King was like, you can run from or learn from it. Oh, indeed, yes. That's a classic for me, always and forever. That's a classic. What are you looking forward to, Mishpah? What are we looking forward to? You looking forward to that excellent health that you already have? It's in front of you. It's right there. You see it. You see it. There's no blind spots here, Mishpah. Give you a driving terminology, there's no blind spots here, because you see what's forward. It's right in front of you. Whatever you desire is right in front of you as you're driving. And I know how Cody would appreciate this, being that awesome taxi driver that he was and still is. You must look forward. You must look forward. Very important. What are you looking forward to? Because whatever you see forward, that's what you are. That's what you believe. It's all go. Go, 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 go. Not trying to, this book we read all the time. Go, dog, go. Go, dog, go. It's all green lights here, Mishpah. If you desire green lights, if you see green lights, but if you see red lights everywhere, my goodness. Stop. Every time you stop. You start something, you stop it. You start something, you stop it. You start and stop. Then you'll never meet your ultimate objective, whatever your ultimate objective is. To be successful, to be wealthy, to be healthy, to be prosperous, to be at peace, whatever it may be, Mishpah. If you come here looking for a religion, you're in the wrong place. But if you come here to just live a life, and just want to live a life comfortably and at peace with yourself, and whatever, you're in the right place. The Torah of Moses is all about life. The writings of Moses are all about just living your life, and living that life even more abundantly than you ever can. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. No problems. No worries. Situations gonna come. It's like, now, Sean, find your peace, my son. Situations are gonna come. They are going to come. But always know you have so many tools in your toolbox to deal with any situation that comes. Any situation. And I guarantee you, this is why you have to be, you have to be lovable. You have to be likable. You have to be presentable. Because the majority of the time, your help is going to come from somebody parallel, not vertical. Did you hear Hakohi's testimony? Parallel, not vertical. Who did he say he gave thanks to today? He said, hey, I wanna publicly give thanks to my sister and my brother who gave me great assistance. This is a miracle that took place. And who was a part of it? Parallel brother and sister. How many of you with me now? Starting to understand. See, but you can't have that if parallel you hate everybody. You're in somebody's hate group. You discriminate against this person. You have broken relationships with your siblings because they're not in the Torah. Oh my goodness. We got to stop all that, Mishpah. Are you starting to understand? Because what happens is you're going to miss out on some blessings. I mean, if you're with me, you're like, oh yeah, Rabbi Kefa, I get it now. You're in these nations to be a light to these nations. You're in these nations to pass over. Help. You bringing help. You facilitating help to everybody around you. You are a helper. You don't hurt people. And you definitely don't hate. Boy, there's some H words coming out. But this is what it's really all about. You must make yourself. I mean, Israel, you don't must do it. It's just who we are. People just come to us. Like they came to Yeshua ben Yosef. People just came to him. They flocked to him. Why? There was something about that dude. Oh, you want some help? Go to that dude. He'll help you. We'll say, man, look, I'm going to follow this Yeshua ben Yosef because he protesting around the temple, and he protesting what the kingdom is doing, and we want to make some placards and signs and go out and protest with him and start burning down temple things and all that. Man, there wasn't all that stuff. The master Yeshua ben Yosef had a mission. He was driving and he was looking forward. He wasn't looking to the back, he wasn't looking to the side. If you're going to ride with him, get in, because it's a forward ride. Put on your seatbelts, it's a forward ride. Might get a little bumpy, but stay with me. Stay with me. Don't stop. Don't give up. You see the driving analogy? I was like, Tada Rabbi for that in Hokmah. Thank you, Mother Wisdom, for your guidance and your direction. And for making life simplistic. Not difficult, but making life so simplistic. It's so simple. When you're listening to the right instruction, right? Things can be simple. Now, I watched that cartoon Cars. How many seen that cartoon Cars? What's that? The tow truck, his name is Maynard, I think. Man, Maynard was the best backward driver I ever saw in my life. He could drive backwards. But not everybody is Maynard. You know what I mean? Everybody can't drive like Maynard and drive. He drives backwards better than he drives forward. But not everybody's like Maynard. Can't drive backwards and be successful. And still have a car. You know what I mean? So we have to be proficient and we have to be experts at forward looking. Not to discount that we must look back sometimes and gain that experience so that we can keep forward driving. You with me, Mishpah? So this is why our Passover time, and some of you are in Passover, and some of you are going to come into it soon on April 3rd, is that we have to examine this going forward. Passover in the nations is all about, my goodness, what bigger testimony can you give in according of help, of rescue, of salvation, of deliverance? All these are synonyms for our Passover. Protection of the festival of freedom, the festival of protection. My goodness, the festival of blessings, the festival of life. Because if you had, the lamb's blood on your door, guess what you did? Your firstborn had life, right? He didn't die. Your firstborn went on to multiply, Baruch Hashem. So there's life in this, man. This is real. So with this life that we've been given, we got to go out and we got to live life. We got to go out and we got to honor our ancestors. Honor our way of living. Publish the name of our God by living life. Not waiting on life to come to us. Not waiting on life. Not waiting on life to come to us. But we just keep on, what they say, y'all want to keep on trucking, right? Keep on trucking. You got to keep moving. In whatever direction you want to go, north, south, east, or west. I don't know where you want to go. But wherever you want to go, know that you're going to meet your destination. And you're going to do it with power and with strength. Why? It's because you're listening to, you get instruction from the Kohen, son of Aaron. That's, if you just follow through with it, you can't help but be successful. You cannot help but be successful. There's nothing else you can do but be successful. So in your success, I would admonish you to help others around you. That's the spirit of the Passover, is we're going to help other people around us. Even though they're not a believer in our way of living, our way of life. You can still help them come up. And then, you know what? That may bring them in. Listen, man, I like that about you. You're a peaceful dude. You're a loving dude. You're a caring dude. You're a compassionate dude. And that may draw them in. Our forefather Abraham had his door open to everybody. Come in and eat. You want to eat? You have a mouth? Come eat. Period. You know what I mean? Then we can sit down and break bread. And then we can sit down and we can talk about things. Not about constricting religion and Judaism. I put them right in the camp. Constricting you. Oh, restricting you from this and constricting you from this. You can't do this, can't do that. You got to go outside, turn electricity out. I mean, you sweating bullets, man. You're supposed to be resting on the Shabbat. Enjoying our festival days. Man, you so wore out after meeting all the restrictions and the constrictions that, I mean, you get to the festival, you just want to sleep. Man. It's not what it's supposed to be like, Mishpachah. You're free under the confines of the Torah. If it's under, you'll experience the freedom if you're under the Kohen. You'll see it. And then let me not throw in that we have greater grace because we're in exile. My goodness. We have even more flexibility. I see it. So enjoy it. Because when we get back in the land, things going to be tightened up. Things going to be tightened up a little bit now because we got the temple up. You know, the Kohanim they're back at work in the temple. Things going to be tightened up. So, you know, enjoy the exile. It's beautiful. It is indeed wonderful. Because believe me, things are going to be tightened up a few notches for the whole world. Not only for Israel, but for the whole world as well. You'll see it. You'll see it. So on that note, I'll wrap up the Shabbat. But I just wanted to give out some Parsha and more importantly, some Passover nuggets to the Mishpachah. To really get under the covers and under what Passover really is. You know, from our point of view, as the people of the books who live a way of life and not a religion. That's it at the end of the day. And we all welcomers, you're welcome to come on in. The doors are open to all. You see, it's to all. We don't discriminate. We don't hate anybody, any religion. Listen, if you're serving whatever you're serving and you're happy, I'm happy for you. If you're serving just yourself, I'm happy for you. If you don't believe in anything, I'm totally happy for you. As long as you're happy, you're at peace with yourself, you know, you love yourself, and you're joyous, and you're going through life loving it and living it and not waiting for something to happen to you on the other side. No, I can't control that, but I can control this life I've been given now and what I can do about it. You see what I'm saying? Things are in your hand to control now, not when you're not breathing anymore. I mean, that's common sense stuff, right? And it sounds so logically simple that it's confusing to people, and you got to leave them to it. So you just continue to live, and other people will gravitate towards you. Live this life of the Torah, and people will find you, Mishpachah. They will find you. They're going to be tearing down doors to get to you, Oliver, there in France. Hey, Oliver, I want what you want. I want what you have. And they can have it. They can have peace. They can have love. They can have joy. They can have wealth, prosperity, success. We have an eternal inheritance, Baruch Hashem. How many people can claim that? How many people believe in that? But they believe in an eternity. But there's no inheritance connected to their eternity. You know what I mean? Where's the contract? I mean, you see what I'm saying? It's empty. It's emptiness. And that's a terrible way to live a life, Mishpah. But I love them and I leave them in the mighty hands of the Most High, who created them just like He created me. To be able to go out and choose and make the decisions for themselves. That's what it's all about. Let them make the decisions for themselves. But give them direction and guidance to help them make better decisions. Decisions with all the information laid out. You see? Not all the truths out there, because truth comes down a dozen, but give them the facts. Give them the facts and allow them to make a decision from that. See, I didn't have the facts. I had a bunch of illusions. You put some facts in front of me, I can make some good decisions based on fact, right? So on that note, we'll wrap it up. I'll say Shabbat Shalom and Shalom Shalom to you. Have a wonderful Passover. Who do I want to touch base with? Oh, yeah, Simha. I've been trying to contact you all week. I know it's difficult. We've been playing phone tag. If you have any kind of issues, please reach out to us. Maybe the email may be better for you if your question hadn't already been answered, okay? Not like, I know we've been playing phone tag, but yeah. But you guys have a wonderful 6 days of labor ahead. Remember, don't come to your festivals empty-handed, Mishpah. And remember who you are, who you be. Shabbat Shalom, 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 Mishpah. Over to you, Akoin.
Yes, that's great, Rabbi Kefa. I have the recording. If you can just send me the title for yours, and I'll be able to join it together. So on the donations and the tithes front, I came over here and I fixed up my cash account, PayPal sorted out, and everything else. So our website, if you go to the website, is Abrahamic-Faith.info or Forever-Israel.com, and there is a PayPal icon on there that says donate. Now you can send it directly to my email. Any tithes, bi-weekly tithes are usually 10% of what you earn in Zadaqah. And so it's Shimon63, SHIMOUN63 at yahoo.com. That's SHIMOUN63 at yahoo.com. If you email me, you can use that same email address for PayPal. And my cash accounts, I will put them out. My cash account is SIMALT or $Simon Altaf. That's $SIMONALTAF or just $SIMALT. So either of those will work. I am going to change my telephone number. For those of you who have my old number, the 850 number, a Florida number, by the way, I will be discontinuing that in about 2 weeks' time. I do have a new number which I will forward to the concerned students who are in touch with me with that telephone number and who need to reach out to me at any time. Then you can. Yaqub, I believe you're in the room. I wish your family well. Yaqub's family, they contracted the COVID-19, and apparently it looks like it could be, some people that they were in touch with, that they contracted it. Even the little baby son, the wife, and the husband. So, but Baruch Hashem, that Yaqub is in good health, so is his family, because they were taking the Artemisia and the other stuff that I recommended, and their symptoms are very, very mild. And the doctor has given them nothing to take. He simply told them to, just isolate themselves, and this is absolutely wonderful. Yeah, praise Yahweh that you're all good. I'm happy. I spoke to you yesterday. This is great. Those of you also, I had a chat with Rabbi Kefa, and I asked him this question. I said, can people get COVID-19 twice? And I forgot to ask him to speak about it, and he responded to me that the answer is that yes, people who had COVID-19 once can get it twice. It's not, doesn't mean that you will no longer get it, because there are 3 variants out there: the Brazilian variant, the South African, and the other one. So there's about 3 varieties going on. But as Rabbi Kefa correctly pointed out, that anybody who takes a vaccine, vaccines are still in the early stages, and they are trying to, say you need booster shots as well. And it's a bit like the flu virus, that, you have to take a vaccine every year. So if you go down that path with many holes, and you're going to find that you're going to have to take a vaccine every year, because it's going to change every year, and it still doesn't guarantee, there is no guarantee of protection. However, if you feel, like I said last time, if you feel you're vulnerable, if you feel that you're one of those people that suffers from underlying conditions, then maybe that is the better, or at least a route to follow, to protect, at least give yourself some level of protection. And I kind of favor Johnson & Johnson vaccine, but you guys can research and find out which is best. But I also favor that you take zinc, that you take selenium, that you take artemisia. And also there is something else that came to my front, that I was told by somebody concerned, that there is another like a herbal medication, and lo and behold, I can put the link over here for you guys to look at it, and I think it's called Nanosoma. And Nanosoma is let me just get the link to the website. Nanosoma, by the way, is a little spray that the makers claim that Nanosoma, it's got a US patent as well. It's made from nature, and it's, the doctor who makes it is an Indian doctor, and surprise, surprise. And also here is the Tuda for that, Yakub, for the link. It's called the nanosoma.com. That's the link. The Nanosoma, as spelled THENANOSOMA. Now, Nanosoma, apparently, what they write, and somebody else is taking it, and they said they had great results. It goes into your cellular level, and they were telling me that 2 doses of that can kill COVID-19. Now, presently, of course, as the strains can change, we don't know if the same one will continue to work, but right now, I was told that 2 doses of that under your tongue, 5 sprays, boom, 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 5 times, for an adult, it can kill COVID-19. Now, I don't know if there's any test results. I'm not claiming there's test results for that. That you need to speak to the doctor at the nanosoma.com website. But I will say this. Let me come down to the ingredient. This is what you're going to find real funny. The ingredient in Nanosoma is a product that we have very common. It's called gur, G-U-R, and in English they pronounce it jaggery with a J, J-A-G-G-E-R-Y, but we call it gur. And Yaakov, you're probably aware of the term gur. It's widely available. It's made from sugarcane. My grandfather, who owned land, he used to make that in a big, it was a huge big pot, and he used to put the grain, he used to take the juice from the sugarcane. I saw it as a kid. He used to put the sugarcane juice in there and keep, under a fire, and it keep going and going and going until it hardens up to this stuff, which we call jaggery or gur. We call it gur. It's excellent. You must use that in your sugar instead of your regular sugars. I would always will ask you to use that, because it's used to make sweets. It's got beautiful taste. It's got many health benefits, and this is where this Nanosoma comes in as well. They've actually made it from gur, believe it or not. So they've added and done some scientific processing on it, and they produced this little spray that they now sell. So I think it's widely available. The spray is widely available in India, and they've got a lab in Switzerland, and they probably have some place in the US as well where they do it. So you can look it up if you're one of those individuals that have pains, joint pains and other pains, and this Nanosoma claims to be very good for joint pains, healing for other types of illnesses. But as I say, experiment. And get the jaggery. You can buy the jaggery from eBay.com, or you might find it on Amazon as well. But beware. Here is a kicker. Beware of the Mexican type. The Mexican type is very dark brown. It's got hardly any smell to it, hardly any true taste to it. And I saw somebody purchased it, and I said, this is not the real stuff. This is just gimmick. I wouldn't touch it. So don't go for the Mexican stuff, because it is nothing even close to the real stuff. The real stuff that comes from India and Pakistan has a real beautiful taste to it, real beautiful smell. You will smell it when you put it to your nose. Real nice smell. So I advise you to look at that and use that in your, instead of regular beetroot sugar, which can cause inflammation, by the way, use that stuff instead. It's really nice tasting as well. So with that, have a great Passover. Until next week, we'll wish you well and blessings, and continue with the good work, and continue to do the chants, slowly in your mouth. This is power week. This is power week for you. This is going to bring tremendous results for you. Those of you who are trying to bring your manifestations to pass, this is the week to do it. Okay, with that, Shabbat Shalom, Pesach Shalom, and Shalom Shalom.